Are we ready to go? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Well, good day, everyone. Standing here, anywhere in this building, I guess you get a sense of history, and certainly a pleasure to welcome you here today, as I said, in this historic building, for what I believe will be a historic announcement for highways and roads in our province, which is near and dear to my heart as Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure, not just for Transportation and Infrastructure Minister, but as a MHA that represents rural parts of the province. I'm very pleased to be joined here today by our Premier, Andrew Furey, Minister Siobhan Cody, and Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador, CEO Craig Foley. As we know, tourism is certainly important to this province. And some colleagues are here, welcome, and mayors and councillors. We have heavy civil that are represented here, a very important group to me in my role as Minister responsible for transportation. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome the Premier of the province, Mr. Andrew Furey.
Well, thanks, Minister, and thanks everybody for joining us. And it's truly, every time I'm in here, is just a remarkable building, a real piece of history of Newfoundland and Labrador, and an honor to stand here, certainly as an elected official and as Premier in such a historic building. Special welcome to our colleagues from the House of Assembly, Minister Cody, Minister Lovelace. Thank you all for being here today. I've traveled the vast geography of our province over and over, as I'm sure many of you all have. And it is truly vast, with more than 9,000 kilometers of paved roads and highways connecting our storied and beautiful communities together. That is over 1,000 kilometers more than the Trans-Canada Highway stretching from right here in St. John's to Victoria, British Columbia. In a way, that is a daunting figure. So it's no surprise that as I visit with people throughout this province, transportation is one of the most repeated subjects alongside healthcare. We care about our well-being. We care about our connection to each other. And it's important to have services that support that. As someone who has felt almost every bump and dodged every pothole across our highways and roads in our province, I see the issues that business owners, citizens, municipal leaders face every single day. And I recognize the frustration and the voices of hard-working Newfoundlanders and Labradorians I talk to each week. In recent years, we have made substantial improvements to highway and road infrastructure. Last year alone, our government completed the Trans-Labrador Highway, a real game changer for the people of Labrador. We have paved hundreds of kilometers of roads each year, and in the last year alone, more than 40 bridges were repaired to protect them from climate change. Bridges were replaced, and numerous other bridges are in various states of repair. More of that work is planned for this year, but Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, the business leaders, communities, they want more. They want reliable transportation. They want safe transportation. Municipalities and tourism operators want a safe and reliable path for their communities and for their products. They do not want word-of-mouth stories about poor conditions of roads leading to their communities, and they deserve that access. My friends, decades ago, your elected representatives stood in this very building to debate the merits of completing a highway from one end of the island to the other. Building a highway across the island would require significant investments, yet they had the courage and the foresight to embark on that journey. And look where we are today. Can you imagine the province without a highway that connected all of us together? Earlier this month, thanks to the Minister, our government announced that in Budget 2023, there will be an increase in our highway infrastructure investment from $170 million to $225 million in provincial government funding. This marks an unprecedented investment in pavement, an unprecedented investment in communities and businesses across our province for the benefit of all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Which brings me, of course, to why we are gathered here today. My friends, I'm very excited to share that over the next 5 years, your provincial government will make a historic and important investment of nearly $1.4 billion in highway and roads infrastructure. That's $1.4 billion to improve the critical connections to families, to access health care and other services, and to properly showcase this spectacular province to tourists. This represents the largest investment of provincial funding in highway and road infrastructure over a 5-year period in the history of Newfoundland and Labrador. And we are making it today in this historic building, in this historic time, as we try to develop a modern Newfoundland and Labrador to meet a modern global economy. Over the last several years, we have spent more than $230 million to complete the Trans-Labrador Highway. Imagine what the place will look like with $1.4 billion of provincial funding in our roads and infrastructure. Once you include the federal funding from cost-shared projects, the total investment in infrastructure will be astronomical and exciting, and it is exciting for each one of you at home and here today, municipal leaders. I know I have some potholes that you could film here in my own home if you would like, but it is exciting so that we can build the infrastructure, the highway to the future for Newfoundland and Labrador. More investments lead to more work being done. Road builders will be able to hire more crews with a degree of certainty from season to season. And we are not done. Our partnership with our federal colleagues is strong, with more to come on shared focus of improving infrastructure through cost-shared agreements. Just as we have done with healthcare investments, this monumental investment in highway transportation infrastructure will create jobs and lead to a more modern Newfoundland and Labrador. We anticipate this being a record year for road construction in Newfoundland and Labrador, and we are just getting started, building a modern Newfoundland and Labrador for a modern, global economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Premier. And indeed, a fantastic announcement for residents of Newfoundland and Labrador here today is exciting news, no doubt. And as I said, not just for residents, but for municipalities and the construction industry, and certainly the tourism industry. As the Premier alluded earlier this month, I was happy to announce the $225 million announcement for roads for this year as part of our multi-year plan. And I spoke to a grade 6 class in Harbour Breton in my district last week, and it was Mrs. Hatcher's class, and the theme of the week and the day was Stronger Together. And I want to reference the Heavy Civil Association of Newfoundland and Labrador, as we've had good communications over the last several years, and I think today is something that they can be proud of, we're proud of, but I think the Stronger Together is a strong message, and this leaves the industry with consistency today in terms of planning for their work, for people to go to work this summer and pave our roads. So it's good news for many organizations here today, and good for Newfoundland and Labrador. Now I'm going to invite Minister Cody to the podium, but I want to say before she comes that it's important to have, obviously the Premier supports this, but a colleague who's stood shoulder to shoulder with me in terms of my ask, what's been important, because she's the one that gives me the money and been very supportive. I want to recognize that and how important that is, and then I want to thank her today, and I'll ask her now to come and give a few comments.
Thank you. And I just said to Minister Lovelace, how could I not support a great minister? You know, it is, as the Premier said, to stand in this historic building and to almost hear the echoes. I'm sure we would have heard the echoes of in another room just across the way where they were debating, as the Premier said, finishing the drive in 65, I think was the expression at the time my dad told me, finishing the drive in 65. And here we are today talking about historic investments, an historic amount of money that we're putting toward improving Newfoundland and Labrador. And I'm sure the debates of yesteryear were just as impassioned as we feel today about improving and developing and growing and making Newfoundland and Labrador even more prosperous. You know, when we started 2 years ago under the journey, under the leadership of the Premier, I can say that he set the task, the goal. He said we need to modernize, we need to transform, we need to develop, we need to improve. We need to have a stronger, smarter, self-sufficient, sustainable Newfoundland and Labrador. And we have made great strides towards that, and this, again, is one more stride. This is ensuring, I think, for the people of the province and for the industry, consistent multi-year funding to improve our infrastructure in the province. And that is, I feel, a historic investment. This is about being strategic, it's about being responsible, it's about being resourceful, it's about ensuring that we have the provincial highways and road system to welcome Newfoundlanders and Labradorians home, to welcome people to visit our province, and most importantly, is to ensure the safety and movement of the people of the province. And, you know, and all this is because we've really been focused on our strategic plan for financial improvement. We've been working very hard to ensure that we have been very fiscally responsible, financially prudent, and, you know, when we move towards this balanced budget that we're all working towards to ensure that we are fiscally strong, we're also making the investments to improve Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm very pleased to be here today, very pleased to work under the leadership of our great Premier, Dr. Fury, and to work with my colleagues in the House of Assembly, so thank you for being here. I think this is as much about the people of the province because of their tenacity, their investment, their I think strength for Newfoundland and Labrador. So today, with the historic announcement of $1.4 billion over the next 5 years, I think provincial roads and highways will be really updated and modernized and transformed. Thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, in terms of tourism, well, we look around here. This can be considered under the tourism umbrella as well because it's a beauty and it's historic, and we know what tourism means to this province. It's improving every day. Tourism is talked about. We know it's growing as an industry, and but also to tourism roots in our province, and we've certainly looked at the lens in the department in terms of planning that the roads that lead to these tourism areas in the province is important. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Craig Foley to come forward. A pleasure to have you here today to speak to the importance of tourism.
Premier Fury, Minister Cody, Minister Lovelace, invited guests. I want to thank the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure and the Department of Finance for inviting the tourism industry to be a part of today's event. As you may have seen in the media in the last few weeks, the issue of access to and around the province is the biggest challenge our industry is currently facing, and we're very pleased with today's announcement of a multi-year investment in our roads. Newfoundland and Labrador's tourism industry has the privilege of welcoming the world to our province. Our restaurants provide visitors with world-class culinary experiences. Our attractions share with them our culture and our heritage. Our tour guides embark with them on unforgettable adventures in our pristine natural environments. Our accommodations offer them a sense of comfort and belonging in their home away from home. We take tremendous pride in sharing the very best of Newfoundland and Labrador with those who come from away. And you might say we're famous for it. Our vast province offers much to experience, and these experiences don't just happen at destinations. The journey to and within the communities are just as important and what makes Newfoundland and Labrador so special. In the last year, we saw an increase in non-resident road travelers to the province. Today's announcement will ensure visitors will have more efficient access to our communities, both rural and urban, where they can connect with our people, explore our unique places and culture, and support our businesses and communities. Improved roadways will allow travelers to truly experience the province. On behalf of Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador, I would like to thank the provincial government for committing to improving our roadways. Updating our roads and our highways will enhance the visitor experience, making it more enjoyable and safer for everyone who chooses to explore our beautiful province, supporting our mission of transforming Newfoundland and Labrador into a thriving tourism destination. Thank you.
So I will conclude to say that it's a great day for communities in this province and the province as a whole. So I think it's a good day, it's a good announcement, and we're gonna celebrate it from this day on. I know we have our jobs to do. We got the money, and we're going to plan, and we're going to work with the contractors and the heavy civil partners in all of this, and to pave our roads and get the works done, and also employing Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. So we're going to close, but I believe there's an opportunity now for a photo and then questions. Okay, my job is done.